From ABC News, this is Nightline. Once again, reporting from South Carolina, Ted Koppel.
And we're back once again with Governor George W. Bush. Governor Bush, when last we spoke?
Yes, I remember it well.
Yes. I made reference to your reference about some reporter, some news guy may take a victory here tomorrow and turn it into something else. Leads me to the larger question of the supposed infatuation of the media with your worthy opponent here, with Senator McCain. Your thoughts on that? You think you've been unfairly treated?
Oh, you know, I don't know, Ted. I mean, I've learned a lesson in politics, and that's not to complain about the press coverage. If I were to complain about the press coverage, it might just get worse. And listen, the press corps that's traveling with me, from my perspective, couldn't be more polite, hopefully more objective. But I get along well with the press corps that travels with me. And frankly, I don't spend that much time watching the news or watching the press. I really don't. I'm so focused on trying to get the vote out here in South Carolina, for example, that by the time I get back to my hotel room, I hit the sack.
Well, there is a perception, not just from you, I should add, that the press is swooning, the media is swooning over John McCain, right?
I guess. That's what I hear sometimes.
You're not going to quibble with that.
I'm not quibbling. On the other hand, I'm not complaining about it.
Why do you think it is, though?
I don't know. I've never been a member of the press, so it's hard for me to figure out the mentality that was swoon over John McCain. All I ask for is objective coverage, that there be balanced coverage, and but I'm not complaining. You're trying to get me to complain, and I'm not going to complain.
No, I'm not trying to get you to complain. I'm just I mean, the press is as diverse as politicians.
Sure.
Right? We got all kinds in the press, too.
You know, the only thing I know to do is to win. This is a delegate. I'm in the business now of picking up delegates.
Right.
And obviously, if I have a good night tomorrow night, it's going to make an interesting news story. If I have a lousy night tomorrow night, it's going to make a not-so-interesting news story for me. But I understand where we are in the process.
Hell of a story for us.
It'd be a great story for you, either way, hopefully. But I'm in the process of winning delegates. And I can just tell you, I mean, you're talking to a man who's just come off the road where I've had giant crowds all around South Carolina. The people are enthusiastic. I have a strong sense of victory. But I won't know until the voters actually show up. So it's hard for me to stand back from the process and give you a critique of how I'm being treated versus my opponents being treated.
Let's talk for a moment about what is going to happen, or what may happen here in South Carolina tomorrow. The sense is, and please tell me if you disagree, that Senator McCain will do best if he gets a large number of Democrats and independents to vote for him.
I think that's true.
Why do you think he is so attractive a candidate to Democrats and independents?
You want to know the real reason?
I want to know what you think.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because he'll be easier to beat in the fall. And let me give you an interesting example. First of all, we ought to welcome Democrats in the Republican Party. I mean, Ronald Reagan attracted Democrats, but the difference is many of the Democrats he attracted stayed with the Republican nominee. They didn't bounce into a Republican primary and then bounce back for the Democrat nominee. In other words, they made a philosophical choice. And so I picked up the newspaper the other day, and Al Gore's, the spouse of Al Gore's chairman here in South Carolina, announces he is for John McCain. And I suspect he's going to come and vote for McCain in the primary and then bounce right back and support Gore in the general election.
You saw the polls, though, that show that actually McCain would do better against Al Gore than you would.
Listen, the polls change depending upon the moment. For a long time, I was doing better than McCain would do against Gore. Polls come and they go. They change all the time, depending upon the mood and the news cycle. So I don't worry about that. I'm just telling you that there are some people who are thinking about coming into this primary, and in Michigan, that are going to just vote in the primary and then go back and support the Democrat nominee for president.
And yet Senator McCain makes a very compelling point. He says Republicans only constitute 40% of the electorate in this country. You cannot win the presidency with Republicans alone. You've just alluded to the same thing. You want Democrats to vote for you.
Of course, but what you don't want is Democrats in your primary and going back in the general election. But I understand picking up Democrat support.
All right.
I'm the man who had the Democrat lieutenant governor support me in Texas. And the reason he did is he liked my philosophy and liked the job I was doing, and he stayed with me.
You don't think
I'm the person who got a lot of Democrat votes and picked up a lot of Hispanic votes, and that's a big difference between a general election phenomenon and a primary. I mean, you're asking me, Who could come in and influence the primary? And I'm describing the potential of what could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. First of all, there's nothing I can do about it. If some Democrat wants to come in and vote for John and then head back to Al Gore in the general election, there's nothing I can do about it. The only thing I can do is to rally my base and turn out a huge number of George Bush voters. And I'm going to get a big independent vote tomorrow, and I'm going to get a lot of the Republican votes tomorrow.
I understand your tracking polls have been skewing kind of high, have deliberately looked at a significantly large number of independents and Democrats just so you can have kind of a worst-case scenario.
Right.
And what does it tell you?
I'm okay. It says I'm in pretty good shape.
So you've got more than just your gut that tells you you're going to win.
Well, there's some empirical evidence, but you never know. Listen, you're looking at the guy who, had we had this conversation before New Hampshire, I'd have looked you in the eye and said, Ted, I'm going to win New Hampshire. So, as I said, I'm not that good a forecaster sometimes. But I believe I'm going to win tomorrow. I've had a good race here. I've defined myself the way I am, as I mentioned to you in the top of the show, that I'm an outsider. I brought good reforms in my state of Texas, and I'm reminding people of what those reforms are. And they're listening here in South Carolina.
We're going to talk when we come back after our next segment with Senator McCain about some of the things that differentiate you as candidates. But for the moment, thank you, Governor Bush. We'll be back with John McCain in a moment.
The luxurious Jeep Grand Cherokee. With QuadraDrive, our most advanced four-wheel drive system ever, you can travel to the world's most exotic places. So there's no limit to what you might come across.
I need a vacation.
Sunday.
He's rotting in prison for a murder he didn't do. He did everything.
The case that will question one lawyer's actions.
What have you done, Jimmy?
All new Practice Sunday on ABC.
This is it. Bedmart's Sleep Better Than Ever sale. Only at Bedmart can you buy without money. That's right. No money down and no interest for 1 full year. Save on Simmons, Englander, and Beautyrest mattresses. Save on every firmness and comfort. Save on every mattress this weekend at Bedmart. Or need a futon with no money down? Shop Bedmart now until Monday because we've got futon frames from $98. Every futon mattress is on sale too. Bedmart's Sleep Better Than Ever sale ends Monday. Don't miss it.
Hello, I'm Jim Watkins, a local Mako owner. Does your car look like this? Well, it could look like this. For a limited time, Mako will paint your entire car for half price. That's right, half price. And our Supreme Paint Service comes with a limited 2-year warranty. Come by your nearest Mako Center in the Portland, Vancouver, Salem area for a free half-off coupon. Don't wait. Let Mako make your entire car beautiful again for half price.
Channel 2 would like to thank the thousands of folks who have signed up for the K2 Viewer Advisory Council.
We're listening and acting on your suggestions. You may have noticed the past week or so, we've added the low temperatures here in the first 5 days of the 10-day trend. Got a lot of folks in the agriculture business here in the Willamette Valley. They like to see those low temperatures. They let us know about it.
Thanks to all of our viewers for your great suggestions.
You call, we listen. Just one more way, K2 connects. Looking for ways to serve you better. That's K2 connects.
And back once again with Senator John McCain. Senator McCain, we're all in the tank for you. That's that is the way that your competitors have perceived it for a long time. And I must say you're a very charming guy. It's easy to like you. And we are all patsies for some guy who'll sit endlessly on a bus and answer every and all questions. But what about this relationship between you and the media?
Well, first of all, it's a high-risk business. We all know that. And I've made several mistakes for which I've paid a price, and one on abortion, and I won't review with you all.
I will.
I'll
review it with you in just a moment.
You'll review those with me. Obviously, when you have complete access, you're going to misspeak, or you're going to say something off the top of your head that you wish you hadn't said that way. But look, the media report the news, and so I'm more than happy to take the risk of misspeaking and by the way, not being misquoted, but misspeaking. and pay that price.
I am interested in hearing your response, though, to conservative Republicans who say, by definition, if those, and you make kind of a riff of it during some of your campaign appearances, you know, those pinkos, I got some of those Marxist reporters with me, that Trotskyite couple, right? That is the way that many of us are perceived by conservative Republicans in this country, and the very fact that some people in the press seem to be very fond of you and have given you a pretty good ride is enough to make you suspect in the eyes of conservatives.
But Ted, here's the point. You know these people as I know these people. They are first and foremost professionals. 99% of the people who ride on that bus are doing a job as a professional journalist. And when McCain makes a mistake, and they lay traps for me all the time. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm walking through I'm one of the Walendas. And that's their job. But I've never seen any, quote, display of affection. And again, when I've misspoke, I've paid a heavy penalty for that. But I deserved it.
Let's talk about a couple of the misspoke.
Sure.
Sometimes...
Or stupid things. You know what?
Well, sometimes I get the feeling that you say what is genuinely in your heart and on your mind, and then that old veteran political voice in the back of your brain says, oh, McCain, how could you do that? You did it here in South Carolina, for example, when you were first asked about the Confederate flag.
No, actually, that was about the 50th time I was asked.
Okay, but, you know, you gave a response that made it sound as though you really were not in favor of the Confederate flag flying here. And then that little voice said, McCain, you got a primary to win in South Carolina. And then you backed away and you kept pulling that piece of paper out of your pocket and you started reading that. A very un-McCain-like thing to do. The same thing with the abortion issue, right? Which McCain are we supposed to believe? The one who gave that sort of quick, off-the-cuff, apparently candid response, or the one who backed off a little bit later, the prudent politician?
Well, in the first issue of abortion, I think we should look at one's voting record. I'm the one with the voting record, 17 years of pro-life voting record, strong adherence to the rights of the unborn, and the belief that life begins at conception. So, yes, I misspoke about it, and every time before or since, I did not. But that's fine.
When you say misspoke, you didn't mean what you said about if it happened to your daughter, you'd take her aside, you'd want to talk to her, you'd want to... I mean, that sounded like a very fatherly thing to say.
I never should have brought anything to do with my family into this campaign.
Granted,
that was what was wrong.
But you did.
I did, and I shouldn't have. And when I realized that I shouldn't have, I said, look, it's between my wife, myself, and I am not going to discuss a family matter in a public forum.
Granted, but you gave an insight that every father out there could understand, and indeed a lot of fathers out there are having to deal not with the theory, but with the reality of that, and are saying, I can't stand these didactic people who are just saying, under no circumstances, wait until it's their daughter. It seemed to give an insight into a window in John McCain's mind on the subject of abortion, that you were not quite as emphatic about it as your voting record would suggest.
Well, my other point has been, obviously, that we want to bring pro-life and pro-choice people together. I've said that at every stop on issues that we agree on. Most Americans agree that we should ban partial birth abortion. I'd like to see us take that step forward. I'd like to see adoption made easier. I'd like to see foster care made better throughout America. So there's a lot of areas we can work together on, and that's been sort of my message.
We're down to our last couple of questions, Senator McCain. The early line on an Al Gore, John McCain campaign is not that you would beat him like a drum, but that eventually they would pick apart your 18-year voting record and just go after you and go after you and go after you and eventually take you apart.
That would be a marvelous experience for me. I'd like to relive some of those golden days of yesteryear with the Vice President, including the appearance at the Buddhist temple, if that's the kind of game they want to play, including no controlling legal authority. If that's the game they want to play, we'll play it. I hope that it's a campaign and debate that's on the issues and our vision for the future of the country. And that's what I want this campaign to be about, because that's what the American people care about. They want to start picking Come on down, guys.
But
I love it. It brings out the old fighter pilot in me, Ted.
Should it come to that, what I'm hearing John McCain say is, oh, when it comes to the general election, if they go negative, I go ballistic.
No, that will go ballistic. But we'll respond, and we'll respond with dignity, and we will respond in a way that we will make it very clear that I want to debate the issues, but I'm not going to be picked apart by Al Gore.
One tiny technicality before it gets to that. You got to win here. You got to win in a whole bunch of other places. But let's take South Carolina first. We've got just a few seconds left.
Sure.
Are you going to win here tomorrow, do you think?
We're going to have a huge turnout, and we're going to prove that negative campaigning doesn't win, and negative campaigning doesn't depress turnout. And our message,
was that a yes? I just want to be sure.
Yeah, we're going to prove that building up America is what really campaigns should be all about, and I'm overjoyed at the enthusiasm that we're hearing and seeing here in these last few days of the campaign. I think we're going to win, and no matter whether we do or not, we'll have won, because the message of reform and the message of taking the government out of the special interests, hands the special interests and back to the people, will resonate for a long, long time.
Senator McCain, thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
And I'll be back for a final segment with Governor Bush in a moment.
Nice kitchen.
I can't wait to redo it.
So don't. For 3 days only, come to Sears and get 10% off regular and sale prices on all home appliances.
So I could save on a new fridge, new dishwasher,
and
maybe a new stove over there.
Oh, yeah. You'll even get free home delivery on any home appliance over $399. Want some more?
Maybe a little TV for right over there.
Got it. All home audio and video and all computers are on sale. So what do you think now?
Time to get cooking.
That's right. You better hurry. Sears, the good life at a great price, guaranteed.
Actually, investing online, you making a decision is very effective, it's very efficient, it's low cost. People have great information today on accounts, annual information, inventory, sales. It's information that used to take weeks, months, and they used to not even be able to get it. Now it's right there. That's Fidelity technology. When you come to Fidelity.com, you can get the tools to make you a more responsible investor.
Premiere. I am your son. They kidnapped his child. That was their first mistake. Mel Gibson. Give me back my son! Ransom, ABC Monday at 8/7 Central.
It's Rosie's Most Extraordinary February. Next time, Rosie's Backstage Pass. An entire hour with the cast of Third Watch. Which is my favorite new show. Behind the scenes. Good luck up there. Nuts. And on the set, they're teasing that you guys are going to get together on the show. Is that going to happen? What? A sneak peek of my debut on Third Watch. To film that 20-second clip took 5 hours. And don't miss their big finale. Next, Rosie.
Monday at 4 on K2, Channel 2. Take an early lunch and treat yourself to 90 minutes of entertaining television. Channel 2 News Midday serves it up starting at 11. It's an hour of local news, weather, and some of the most interesting people you'd ever want to have lunch with. Then at noon, get a dish of Tinseltown gossip. It's the National Enquirer on television. Eye-opening revelations, provocative information in the privacy of your own home. The National Enquirer, weekdays at noon, right after Channel 2 News, only on K2. Lunchtime just got better.
And back once again with Governor Bush of Texas. Governor Gary Bauer came out the other day and supports John McCain. Did it have any impact, you think? Will it have an impact here?
I don't think so. What's interesting about that is that his state chairman, a guy named Mike Fair, is supporting me, and the feedback I've got is that the organization that he had put in place is helping me turn out the vote. But we'll see.
Why do you think Bauer did that? I mean, if in fact, as you have maintained all along, you're a more legitimate anti-abortion candidate than John McCain is, you would think that Gary Bauer, for whom that was almost the be-all and end-all, would have come out for you.
I don't know, Ted. I don't know. I didn't talk to him. I mean, I talked to him right after he decided to get out of the race, and I wished him all the best, but
You didn't ask for his support?
Of course I did, but I had no indication that he was then going to go support John. This was about 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe right the day after New Hampshire or the week after New Hampshire, I think, is when he decided to exit the race. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him, so it's hard for me to speculate until I speak to him.
While we're talking about asking people for support, have you asked Steve Forbes?
I talked to Steve, and I said, Steve, if you decide to endorse, I'd obviously like your consideration. That's how I put it. And if he decides to endorse, I'd love to have his consideration.
That's pretty delicate. Did he give you a chance? I mean, did he give you a hint, or?
No, I don't. You know, this is when a person gets out of a race, there's got to be some space, some breathing room, and I wasn't going to press hard. He knows I want his support, and I asked for it, and I hope that he does. If he chooses to endorse, I hope he endorses me.
Your campaign has been pounding pretty hard on John McCain on the issue of his anti-abortion record. It's one of the issues that clearly is there in the literature and some of the radio ads. And my question is, what's the difference between your position and John McCain's?
I think you're talking about one of the independent groups that are coming into.
Well, is there a difference between your position and John McCain's?
Not much of one, except for the fact on the fetal tissue issue. Research for the fetal tissue research issue.
Right. He supports that, does he?
Yes, he does.
And you don't?
Right.
But other than that, there would be nothing that you can point to South Carolinians and say, this is why this guy's not as good a man.
Well, by the way, we don't call it the anti-abortion issue. We call it the pro-life issue.
I understand.
Please.
But there is nothing then really.
There are some people who believe that I would be more consistent. And I haven't analyzed his entire voting record, but there are the National Right to Life group, as I understand, is running independent ads that are not coordinated with my campaign. Now, you don't understand something about the politics, and you do. There's a lot of folks who have the right to express their opinion in the process. There are people that have run ads for me, and there have been people who run ads against me. Right. There have been people who run ads for John and people who run ads against John. And these are not coordinated with any campaign. So when you say it's my campaign running ads, I don't think so. I don't think they are. I think this is the National Right to Life group, Ted.
I assume, but maybe I'm wrong, that if you picked up the phone and said, guys, I'm really embarrassed by this, please don't do it, that they would stop.
No, you know, for example, when the Sierra Club was running ads against me, or the NARAL group, the anti-life group,
right,
were running ads against me. I didn't like it, but that's where they have the right to do so. You can assume anything you want, but people have a right to express their opinion.
And your feeling is that, I know what I wanted to ask you. John McCain said that he didn't run that negative ad against you. In fact, he doesn't even call it a negative ad.
Oh, really? But let me stop you there. When you equate a man, when you question his integrity and trustworthiness, and equate me to Bill Clinton, now that may be okay in a Democrat primary, but in a Republican primary, it gets about as low as you can go. That's about as negative an ad as you can put, and he put it on the air.
Well, there are some things about Bill Clinton that I'll bet you wish you could duplicate.
Yeah, but not the issue of trustworthiness and integrity.
I
don't appreciate that.
Is that what
you
you
wouldn't appreciate it either if I put ads about you equating you to the trustworthiness of Bill Clinton on
Fortunately,
the air.
we're not running against
I
each other.
understand.
But
for him to say that's not a negative ad is totally absurd. And the people of South Carolina heard the ad, and they've reacted. And he played the old bait-and-switch game. He said, well, you know, I'm through running ads. And I'm not going to play the bait-and-switch. I understand politics, and I understand this business about saying one thing and doing another, and I'm not going to let it happen.
Now, you say he ran that ad for 18 days.
No, he didn't run that specific ad. He ran a series of ads that distorted my record and then questioned my trustworthiness.
He says he only ran that ad for 18 hours and then pulled it.
Well, we'll have to get the facts for you after the show.
After the show doesn't do me any good.
Well, I can't prove it to you right this second. I'm just telling you, a lot of people saw the ad. It's a game. They play the game where they pound home a message, and then they say, oh, let's quit. And I was raised in Texas politics. I understand the bait-and-switch politics. And I'm not going to play it. I'll stand by my ads.
I heard you on CNN saying that, you know, I was raised in Texas, and you've got, you know, pretty tough political practitioners in Texas.
We do.
I keep wondering why you make it seem as though politics in Washington is so much worse than it is. I mean, it's pretty tough down here in South Carolina.
I am bringing, it's an agenda that I'm talking about. It's a policy agenda. Washington needs, in my judgment, a fresh approach after a season of cynicism. And if the people are happy, I mean, this is going to be the contest between me and Al Gore's about if I'm the nominee and he's the nominee. Is you want an extension of what's gone on for the last 8 years.
You're going to hold Al Gore responsible for things that Bill Clinton did?
I'm going to remind people there's an attitude in Washington. There's an attitude of pitting one group of people against another. There's an attitude about if somebody doesn't agree with you, let's just try to destroy his reputation. There is a zero-sum attitude in Washington, D.C., and the American people, by the time this campaign is over, If I'm the nominee, let me put it to you this way, when I'm the nominee, the American people are going to see a stark difference between someone coming from outside of Washington and someone who's spent their entire career in Washington.
Stark difference in what way? And
Just a lot of differences. Take Medicare. We'll just take Medicare, for example. This is an issue that could have been solved if the administration put their mind to it and was willing to bring Republicans and Democrats together to solve the issue. They could have solved the issue. Had Johnny Bro and Thomas from California,
so
a Democrat and a Republican.
You got to be a healer. You got to be someone who can bring people together.
I think so, Ted. I do.
Of different parties.
Yes, sir. In order to get the big issues solved.
Why not start the process right now?
What does that mean when I start the process right now?
Bring them in. Try and harvest some of those Democrats.
I got to get the nominee first.
No. I mean, you got to
You
win.
think Johnny Bro is going to endorse me? He's a loyal Democrat.
Oh, I don't mean
senator.
that. I mean you got to win the primaries first. So why don't you go harvesting for some of those Democratic and independent
I'm going to get
votes?
Democrat. I'm going to get conservative Southern Democrat votes. You mark my words. There'll be a huge Democrats for Bush organization. But I'm going to win this primary right here with Republicans and conservative Democrats and independents.
Governor Bush, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, sir.
I'll be back with a final thought in a moment.
We mend broken hearts. We make lives memorable. We help people love one another. We're the people of Pfizer. We develop medicines that make the world a better place. We spend over $2.5 billion a year on research. That's why we believe we'll introduce more new medicines for more diseases than anyone else. We're not just looking for cures. We're going to find them. Pfizer. Life is our life's work.
Jeep Grand Cherokee, engineered with our most advanced four-wheel drive system ever, Quadra Drive. The only system that operates at maximum capability all the time. Another first from Jeep.
It's broken.
How'd you get here?
Sunday, the morning after. Who won? Who lost? And now what? McCain and Bush weigh in, and so does Bill Bradley. This week with the candidates. Sunday.
If you don't clean up your room, the Board of Health is going to condemn it. You make that face again, it's going to freeze that way. If you don't get your blood pressure checked, you could have high blood pressure and not know it and die from a stroke.
Here are some fun ways to make a difference.
Get empowered to get involved.
Brought to you by your local Jeep dealer and K2.
Senator McCain is spinning things a little when he says that come what may, he's already won in South Carolina. In politics, as in football, winning still means having more votes or points than the other guy. And if Governor Bush wins, John McCain loses. But this state was supposed to be such a slam dunk for the governor of Texas that McCain can afford to lose here in South Carolina. Bush cannot. A Bush victory here tomorrow means that the governor will live to fight another day. But so does John McCain. In that sense, at least, he got more out of South Carolina than anyone would have expected 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel at Clemson University. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Coach K and the Duke Blue Devils battle ACC rival NC State. ABC's NCAA basketball, Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central.
There are some things in life that just can't be explained. John Travolta, Kira Sedgwick, and Robert Duvall. Phenomenon, ABC Saturday at 8, 7 Central.
As the new millennium dawns, half the people on Earth survive on less than $2 a day, while hunger kills over 7 million children every year.